Each spring, eastern monarch butterflies wake up in the mountains of Mexico and make their migration to warmer climates like Texas, where they breed and die. The Texas monarchs travel a few hundred miles further north, where they also breed and die. It takes 4 or 5 generations of monarchs to reach the northern end of its range, perhaps as far north as Canada, where a super generation is born that will fly all the way back to that same mountain in Mexico, where its great-great-great-grandparents started the journey. Scientists don't understand how the monarch completes its incredible voyage, but a new study has found some well-meaning butterfly enthusiasts may be hampering it. That study from the University of Chicago finds that captive-bred monarchs are not as likely to complete that return migration to Mexico. Here to tell us more is Chip Taylor, director of Monarch Watch. He says the study should really be used to inform us about the best way to raise monarchs at home.
So the general takeaway message that many people have had from this paper is that reared butterflies don't migrate, and that's simply not true. What you do have to do to get monarchs that migrate is rear them under the right conditions. And that's something that has not been standardized. Many people are rearing them under conditions that are not entirely satisfactory, and the reared butterflies tend to be a little bit smaller, so their possibility of getting to Mexico is a little bit reduced. And a lot of the butterflies that are reared in parts of the U.S. where the probability of getting to Mexico is actually reduced as well, simply due to the distance. So the reared butterflies don't get to Mexico as well as the wild ones do, but they still get there.
So is the take-home message here then, if somebody's interested in raising caterpillars in their own home, don't buy them online from one of these breeders, but go out and look in your yard and your neighborhood?
Most of the people that are doing the backyard rearing are rearing monarchs that they find in their backyard, or they're scouring the landscape to find eggs, and they're going to parks and they're going to natural areas and finding eggs and bringing them in. And the reason they're doing this is they're invested in something we call monarch rescue, which is the idea that about 98% of all of the eggs laid out there never become an adult butterflies. And if, they're subject to all sorts of predation and parasitism and so on and so forth. And so if you bring them in, you'll be adding to the population. Well, you will if you do it right. But if you don't do it right, you're not going to be adding to the population. And so what we're trying to do is encourage people to do the right thing, rear these butterflies in the way that they have some prospect of not only getting to Mexico, but surviving the winter and surviving the trip back north to Texas and surviving to reproduce.